Just like Jack Osbourne, he knows what it's like to live in the shadow of a rock star father. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on a mandate. Get it on. Good to see you, Gina Grab.
You too.
And Bald Brian.
I'm going to kill you and fuck your wife. Oh.
All right, Jack Osbourne's going to come on. We'll get caught up with him. And more something I forgot about when I was digging into Cinderella Man and unfinished business from our Love Boat episode as well. Very disturbing ending that I forgot.
There's more?
There's a lot of disturbing endings.
Yes. Well, so when I was kind of doing the Max Baer who fought Jim, what's his name for the Braddock gentleman. I don't know. He wasn't a gentleman, Jim. He was a Jim. He was a Cinderella Man. He had like 5 nicknames. Anyway, and I was telling you they were kind of making Max Baer, who was, I seemed to be kind of a lovable showman, kind of clown prince of heavyweight boxers back then. We also forget we had those characters in the day. You know, it's we think this is 10 minutes old.
Yeah.
This bigger than life guys. You know, Jack Johnson was that kind of guy, and he's in the teens. He was boxing in, I don't know, 1918
and we had
or something.
It girls, you know, Clara Bow. It was like 100 years old.
Whatever it is we have now, we had it because we were human beings.
Right.
Just because it's in black and white doesn't mean the shit didn't happen.
Right.
Sadly, same with World War II. You know, 19-year-olds being blown apart. That's what we had.
Yeah.
We had that. It was in color for them. It was real. So, and it was in the modern era for them. You know, they had planes and
Cutting
automobiles
edge.
and radios and TV sets. And so, anyway, keep that in mind when you look back at the past. You go, oh, what the hell was Grandpa thinking? So, anyway, Max Baer, and I thought he was treated unfairly because he killed a man in the ring and he was regretted it and was haunted by it and so, and they made him into happy about it or proud of it or something. But, Gina Grad, this is for you. The real Max Baer wore a large Star of David on his shorts.
Really?
Yes. Yes, there's many pictures of him. There's articles.
We're talking 6 points, a real Star of David.
But he could get... That's the real... We're looking at a picture of the real Max Baer.
Is that in tribute to someone?
That is not open to interpretation.
I think in the article I read, he had a grandfather who was Jewish, and he did a tribute to him. And, you know, this is coming up. This is on the eve of... Not the eve, but the night before, 2 nights before World War II. Hitler's coming into prominence.
Holocaust week.
Yeah, it probably would have done him better to keep the Jewish support to a dull roar, not really advertise it.
Yeah, I think.
Well, you're going to subvert expectations,
right?
I think he was making a. I think he was making a statement.
Right, that's what I mean. It would have behooved him to kind of stay under the radar.
Right, but then I watched a movie.
No talk of it.
No,
I didn't see it.
no trunks.
Well, now I thought it was weird. I could see it. Now we're looking at a picture. It's prominently displayed. It is 6 inches by 6 inches. It's
the only thing on his shorts.
It's in a contrasting color. It doesn't have his nickname or anything. It just has that.
Wow.
And it can be seen from the 50th row of the auditorium he's fighting in. I said, in the movie, I see some sort of faint outline of it, but not really. And I was thinking to myself...
Oh, you think they made a half-hearted attempt?
Well, look, if this guy wore this thing, historically, and you're doing a story historically, where was it? What did everyone wear? What
Who was involved?
The guy, the guys that were ringside were all wearing fedoras, not beanies and trucker caps and stuff. They kind of had to go, all right, what was this? So it had to exist, but they toned it way the fuck down. I told Chris to go find some pictures. You can barely see it in the fights of like a weak outline of the Star David.
Yeah, only because I know it's supposed to be.
See it. I see a shadow.
For $1 million, if I just saw the movie and you asked me, did someone have a Star of David on their shorts, I'd say no.
Right. So they had access to all these photos and all this stuff. They made a choice. They made a choice because once again, I think it would have made him a little more sympathetic.
Yeah.
Absolutely would have.
And
interesting.
And I have more nuance, more layered, like you're kind of talking about. Ron Howard kind of started to go black and white and lost a little of the nuance in his storytelling. Yeah. But no, they took that Star David right off his shorts.
Offensive.
Is Ron Howard an anti-Semite?
Well, he is now. I mean, I blew the lid off this shit.
Oh,
except
my
for
God.
There is an article on it that Chris found. And it's like, look, I'll put it to you this way. You're trying to make the guy a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Let's just say Max Baer Sr., we'll call him now. Max Baer Sr. was an anti-Semite or in the Klan. As he had the KKK on his shorts. I think they would have prominently displayed that.
Would have been lingering shots.
Big story point.
So why did they tone this thing way the fuck down to the point where you couldn't really even read it, but you could say it was there?
It's also contemptible. No, sorry. It shows contempt for the audience. Like, oh, they're not going to go along with the story if this guy has some redeeming qualities. He must be the black hat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He must be the bad guy, capital B, capital G.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, look, the proof's right there. We have a picture from the actual fight where it is prominently on display, and then one from the movie where you can't tell it's there.
Damn.
All right. See what I do, people?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are sleeping.
Grab assing.
I'm staying up doing the real work.
If ever you sit with Brian Grazer again, please make this item number 1 on the agenda.
Grazer's probably in the tribe, right?
100%. Grazer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me because, we weren't big boxing people in my house. But yeah, right. But my dad knew a fair bit about every sport.
A sports guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying, about every sport on the planet. He was a sports announcer, loved Jews, loved Jewish athletes. This never came up. I've never heard this before.
Well, it's funny because I knew a Artie Bear in high school, and he was definitely Jewish, Bear. And then when you take a look at his hair, it is very Jufro-y for the day. Grazer's half Jewish. Dad was Catholic, but that makes you Jewish.
He should have half cared.
Do you have that article, Max Pat, that you told me you found? I don't know where. I can't remember where it was.
Slate, and it's the article titled "Fight Snub." And they just said that the Star, attentive viewers of the climactic fight of Cinderella Man will notice a Star of David on the red
Drunken Board podcast and Drunken Board podcasters who should have went to bed.
We'll notice a Star of David on the red trunks of Max Baer, but the star is significantly less prominent than the one that the real Bear wore in the 1935 fight. It's no surprise that Howard would obscure this detail, as it would complicate the film's Rocky meets Seabiscuit narrative.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and look, when you are making a film like Ford v. Ferrari, you copiously study all the pictures and what cars had what livery and what sponsorship and what kind of helmet the guy wore, and did he have his name written on the side or the front. It's all you do, and then you recreate it painstakingly.
Especially if it says something about the character.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a huge tell.
An example they're giving the Rocky... Apollo Creed was, for that era, for what he was, a nuanced villain.
Yeah.
He was charismatic. He was sympathetic. You understood where he was coming from. You wanted him to lose, but
Wow.
All right. So Gina, I'm not in the tribe, but yet
you kind
a
of
champion for the
Thank
tribe.
You.
Standing up.
Doing the Lord's work.
All right. Also, Love Boat.
Oh boy.
I forgot my final clip when Kim Richards, 13,
goes on trial for statutory rape,
and her elderly parents got onto the ship
because the last we left them, they were going to give her a spanking.
Right. Unless this carpal tunnel kicked in.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
The actor was 70.
His bone just broke.
The actor they chose to play the 13-year-old's dad, 73 in real life. I went and looked that shit up. 60 years. He had her when he was 60. I don't know why they cast that way.
Your investigative reporting knows no bounds.
Listen, you want to find out? Look, where's Amelia Earhart's airplane? Where did the virus emanate from? Put me on it.
Seriously?
I'll figure that shit out.
It's called Truth Yeller for a reason.
That's right. So I forgot. So, all right. So the way the Love Boat works is people go on the ship. Then there's some controversy, some problems, some dust up, some misunderstanding, something. And then they patch it up. And then when they walk off the ship, all the couples are back together.
Sure.
All the misunderstandings are solved.
Sure.
Everyone's happy. Even strangely, the guy who found out he had ALS.
Skipping.
Born anew.
He was diagnosed with ALS at sea, and he still got off the boat a day and a half later with a smile on his face
Skipping
and a
his
laugh.
step.
Got all my problems.
That one seemed like a bridge too far.
Wow.
But
Just that one, though.
but so Kim's getting off. She's with her elderly parents, and they explain she won't be doing this again.
Oh.
But then something happens. All right. So
Well, Captain, I've had a long talk with Gail, and
While
she
beating
won't be
her.
pulling any stunts like that anymore. I'm sorry if it caused you any trouble.
No problem.
And Vicky, thanks so much for being such a good friend to Gail.
No problem. And go for Ike.
No problem.
Come on, dear. Goodbye,
want to
everybody.
fuck a
Bye-bye.
13-year-old. She's walking off the ship. She stops, puts her glasses down,
Blows him a kiss.
gives him a come hither and look,
And a wink.
and a wink.
Now that's a problem.
Oh, good laugh.
Having a big laugh.
Everyone got a good chuckle out of that.
We looked at women and girls and sexuality in a much different light in 1982.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because by today's standards, like if we just read this article, your first thought would have to be, when was she abused? Why is she trying to get this kind of attention? What does she know
Yeah.
at this age that she's not supposed to know?
Did she learn a lesson?
I don't think so.
I would argue that she's
and
about to do it again.
where she's going to go home and she's got the 23-year-old neighbor guy who's unemployed. You
poison ivy.
Where's that going? Yeah, so
Damn.
I forgot about Kim blowing him the kiss. Also, it's
a good
weird.
button.
It's also weird that Isaac and Doc weren't there to see her off. Like, why does Gopher need to?
Yeah.
This crazy chick almost got you arrested in
Gopher should be
Mexico.
hiding in a broom closet.
I know.
Disciplinary action.
Yeah.
On leave.
Or trying to obviously, look, there's no doubt he rubbed one out to her before he found out the news.
He's totally innocent.
He's trying to get that horse back into the barn. You know what I mean? I mean, once it's spilled, it's spilled. you
Right,
know.
right, I get it.
There's no doubt.
Can't put that
I'm
back in
sure
the
it's a
toothpaste.
deleted scene.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Wow.
No jury in the land.
So I forgot about that one.
Question. What's up with Vicky Stubing? What's up with her? Is she a later cast member?
Oh, is that
That's
the
the
captain's daughter?
Yeah.
The daughter got,
Is she the new Julie?
What they would have to do, it would be like the neighbor in the Partridge Family or the neighbor in the Brady
Right.
Bunch.
Cousin Oliver.
Yeah, somewhere around season 4, things get a little stale. Then they want some youth injected
Okay,
into this.
okay.
So all of a sudden, the person that's never been brought up before now walks onto the ship. Oh, it's my daughter. Like,
Has an executive position.
yeah, we haven't heard any. And he's deeply in love with her. He's a great dad.
Right.
But he's never brought her up in the
Okay.
other 128 episodes.
Okay.
This
Because she
is
didn't
my-
look familiar, but I don't know.
It's what happens. It's always in a sitcom or a movie or something. No, not a movie. Like a sitcom. If you ever see someone smoking who never smoked in any other episodes, their story's going right to the
Right.
cigarette. You know what I mean? You go,
Yeah, Greg
"What's that-
Brady."
What's that guy smoking for? It never
Right.
came up.
Yeah.
Like, no. Well, especially if it's established, like in the Partridge Family, season 4, I turned it on, and Reuben Kincaid just in the kitchen in the morning smoking, and I'm like, I've never seen that guy with a cigarette before. And then of course Danny comes in and
Press the
tells him to
thing.
quit, and then he goes, I bet you couldn't quit eating dessert before I could give up smoking. And then the whole
Now we
thing's
got a
about
B story.
Oh, yeah.
white
Off to the
knuckling
races.
it the whole time.
Sure.
All right, so there's that. We have Hanson in studio. Do we?
Yes.
Did you retrieve that, Dawson?
What year was that? That was certainly before me.
2013.
Okay.
We have, which
So good.
I love Bop anyway, but their acoustic version was just magnificent. Live, this is sort of based on that story of them getting booed and then winning the crowd over, blah, blah, blah. We'll play that as soon as Dawson pulls it up. I got some other deep dive boxing news that'll pertain to the recently unearthed.
Oh boy,
resurfaced. We were talking about that best dad in the world, the rodeo dad who dove on his unconscious son before the bull could gore him. I forgot about the best dad in the world story. Guy's down, bull's going nuts, clowns doing what the clowns can do, and dad dives on him and really tries to protect him.
Gets a real good nudge from that bull.
Yeah, I have a better dad than that story.
Hard as tough.
And
this dad knocked out one of the Klitschkos.
What?
Oh, now I'm dying to find out.
Mm-hmm. He beat one of the Klitschkos.
Do tell.
Yeah. Lost to the older brother Klitschko in like the 8th round or something later on, but knocked out Vladimir. I think it was Vladimir or Vitaly in the second round.
Vladimir's more famous for boxing, right?
Yeah, I guess it's Vitaly and Vladimir, and I can't remember. They were both champions. Now they're in Kyiv, and they're protecting the city. Yeah. But this guy knocked them out and then became the world's greatest dad. Well, first we'll hear some Hanson, because I just love this song so much.
Oh. 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 Yeah. This life, only want to last. You go through all the pain and strife, then you turn your back, you're gone too fast. Oh yeah, and gone so fast. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so long to the ones that really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. When you get off, silence in your hair, can you tell me who is still care? Yeah. Tell me who is still care. Whoa, okay, yeah. On back, oh yeah. On back, to find out which one grows. It's a secret no one knows. It's a secret no one knows. Whoa, no one knows. Oh yeah. Can you tell me? Oh, no, I can't, 'cause you don't know. Can you tell me? Second, but you don't know. Can you tell me? Oh, no, I can't, 'cause you don't know. Can you tell me? Second, but you don't know. Can you tell me? Oh, no, I can't, 'cause you don't know. Can you tell me? Second, but you don't know. Second, but you don't know. Don't know how. Don't know. Little hops. Say hops.
Oh, it's their beer. They have beer.
Oh yeah, hops. Yeah.
Oh, love that song.
God, they did it right in front of me, and they're so damn good.
So good.
Yeah.
They still look young. I know the youngest is 28. Would you like to guess, all in all, between them, how
13
many?
kids. Is that where you're going?
Uh-huh. Brian?
I'll take the over at 14 and a half.
You're both wrong. 15.
Oh, wow. So close.
7, 5, and 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
She gave birth to twins 20 minutes ago, so that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
my number was off. But
That was awesome.
it's so good. I love that we live in a world where Hanson needs to be, punchline and DJ Khaled needs to be worshipped. I'd love to pull DJ Khaled's fat, untalented ass in here and just set up a milk crate. Go, well, sit down.
Do a little oom-bop
Here
for
we
us.
go. What do you
Or any
got?
song.
Yeah, you're pointing at the ceiling tile, but at some point we got to do something. Yeah, they're the real deal, man.
Yeah, they're so good.
And they're nice as hell.
Yeah.
Like, somebody did a good job with those kids.
Clean living.
All right. So the story,
Best dad.
best dad in the world, was, I think, South African white guy, heavyweight, Corey Sanders, knocked out Klitschko. One of the Klitschkos retired, went back to South Africa, and was out celebrating daughter's party, maybe a niece. I can't.
Dawson has a story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, out celebrating. So let's hear world's best dad. Rodeo dad's good, but I think he's a runner-up.
A function was being held for his nephew's 21st birthday. Sanders was taken to a hospital after he was fatally shot in an armed robbery where he died in the early hours
Oh, shit.
of September 23rd, 2012. Sanders had been near the entrance of the restaurant talking to his daughter and a cousin when 3 robbers entered firing their guns, striking Sanders in the stomach and arms as he moved in front of his daughter to protect her.
Took a bullet, too.
Sanders was already bleeding from his wounds when he pulled her to the ground and told her to pretend that she was dead.
He's dead. Right. Rodeo dad's alive.
Yeah.
He's dead.
They're both fine.
And these I looked up these guys. They look like 3 just boat people that just like walked in. It's all so unnecessary. Now they're in prison for 30 years. I don't know what the fuck they got from the restaurant. 80
Yeah, so you
bucks.
probably could have got the same amount without the bloodshed.
You don't have to walk in and start shooting everyone. And Sanders was, by all counts, a good, well, I'd say he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And that was his impulse. You didn't have to quiz him on it.
You definitely topped Rodeo Dad.
He did it. I think he was even a scratch golfer. He was an interesting guy. Big heavyweight.
A lot going on.
With a big southpaw. I think it was a big southpaw.
And while bleeding out, had the wherewithal to give his daughter advice to stay alive.
Yeah. 2012. That's when it went down. So I don't know, look up his story. It's an interesting story. He was heavy. I mean, talk about Cinderella Man. He was a heavy underdog to the Klitschko.
He didn't look as big as a Klitschko.
Well, it wasn't, but he knocked him out. And Vladimir, was it Vital? It was Vladimir. Vladimir, to his credit, this is why the Klitschkos are the Klitschkos as well. Vladimir was like, that guy knocked me out in the second round, just basically embarrassed him. I think it was out here in L.A. He did me a favor. I learned a lot. And then he went on to string together, 10, 15 big wins, after getting knocked out by Corey Sanders. He's like, a lot of guys would have fired their trainer or whatever. He just went, that guy landed on me. I don't want that to happen again. I'm going to learn a lesson and I'm going to figure this out. And he did. And then he went on to be the champion and all that.
Can you imagine Conor McGregor saying that? I'm going to look inward. I learned a lot from getting knocked out.
Yeah.
I wanted to quit initially, but you know what? Stick-to-itiveness.
Vladimir says he's the hardest puncher he'd ever faced, and Hasim Rahman, who went on to win the title as well, said the same thing after the match. But all the punching in the world ain't going to do anything if a 140-pound dude's got a pistol and he walks into the restaurant. That's it. Well, we'll show you a tribute to the late great Corey Sanders.
The left hand that Sanders is hitting him with. And he's attacking to try to get out of trouble instead of holding.
You don't see Klitschko's getting their ass kicked that often.
Dropped him.
Damn. Running from him.
Stops the fight, and thus ends the Vitaly Klitschko, or the Vladimir Klitschko Express.
Wow.
You can look at Klitschko's body, there's still not much sweat on him at all. Leaving out of the dressing room, waiting for the show.
Love George Foreman.
I say Jake LaMotta sounds different.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody at any time.
Yeah, he does seem refreshed.
Yeah, George is like, you got to break a sweat, can't go in there dry. That just you got to get a little lather going in the dressing room.
Why?
You just come in there, you're cold, and a guy jumps on you, and you're sort of acclimating a little bit.
Got it.
You know what I mean? I think that's what George was. If I was doing that with Foreman, I'd go, George, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. But listen to me. I used to teach executive boxing at Bodies in Motion in Pasadena.
Go sell a grill.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Let me take care of a little business here. And we got the TiVo game to play. I got another story to get into. I got...
I hope it's Hot Three's company news.
Oh,
good.
I did watch Three's. I watched Three's Company last night, Gina. I was gonna spare you in the audience, but if you're gonna, start poking around, you're gonna poke the bear.
You poked the Max Bear.
I apologize to the entire listening community.
All 6 points of that star, David. First, let me tell you about Simply Safe U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science all rank Simply Safe Home Security the best home security of 2021. And they've named Simply Safe the best home security again in 2022. This is a great product. It's a great company. Peel and stick, set up in half an hour. Easy to customize the system for your home. Batteries last up to 10 years. Every door, every window, 24/7 protection, backed by the best professional monitoring in the business, ready to dispatch police, firefighters, and EMTs. Less than $1 a day, and you set it up yourself in half an hour. No long-term contracts. You can try it for 60 days free. So you can customize your home's perfect system in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/Adam. Go today and get the free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/Adam. All right, more stories and the TiVo game right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Adam, you forgot about the wide receiver, Laverne Shirley.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Oh, so good. La apostrophe Vernon's a dude's name.
Yeah, that's good.
I played football with Wendell Shirley.
Oh.
So that's a name.
It's totally possible.
Mm-hmm. Ray knew him by a different name, but anyway, we called him Wendell. I think he made the mistake of Ray. In front of Ray, he switched from Wendell to Wendell. And Ray was not...
Did Ray go off to sea?
He went full Windex.
It was a different time, but Ray was not down with the name change.
I get it.
So he modified it.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
He reimagined it.
So we got the TiVo game to play. Let's see. We have my son, who is constantly explaining to me how all his young friends love comedy, but that I'm irrelevant essentially.
Oh,
and over the hill,
biting commentary.
Yeah, he said, and he loves everybody, and he said. I said, well, he said, who's the most popular person you had on Crank Yankers? And I said, well, Eminem wanted to do something with us. We did it with him.
It's funny because at the time you might have said like Dane Cook, but today maybe that name doesn't quite, have the same heft.
Yeah, so I said, well, there's Eminem, and then he went, that's all I had. Then I went, but there were a lot of famous people.
Wu-Tang?
Tracy Jordan.
And I went and looked down on it, and he went and looked it up, and then he's like, oh, Dave Chappelle? And I was like, oh, yeah, Dave Chappelle.
He was the Wu-Tang manager, wasn't
he?
He
was a manager for the Wu-Tang Clan.
I forgot how Wu-Tang was involved in this.
Yes, he managed them.
The B&B.
He called the air, or just the B&B, when it was just a real B&B, and want to know if they had some room for the Wu-Tang Clan.
That's right.
And I thought, oh yeah, I haven't heard that one in 15 years.
Great.
So I told Chris to play it because I think it's funny. And now it's Dave Chappelle. Back then it was Dave Chappelle, but we didn't care.
Good evening. This is Reba May.
Hey, Reba May, how you doing? I need to make a reservation. I'm going to need about 12 rooms.
12 rooms. You must have a whole lot of people coming.
Oh, yeah, we on tour. We got everybody.
Well, that's fantastic. Who are you with?
The Wu-Tang. We got Method Man, RZA, the Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Det, You God, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon the Chef. Everybody's there. You down with this?
Well, I tell you what, sir, I wished I could help you, but I'm not big enough for that.
For 12 rooms?
No, I only have 2 rooms.
I'll take that. That sounds good. Just so long as we can fit the girls in there with us, you know what I'm saying?
Who am I speaking to again?
Huh? Oh, this shaving. SHAVIN, like I'm shaving my face.
Neat. And you're a rock group or?
Straight hip-hop, yo, from the streets. Hardcore, the real deal weed smokers, you know what I'm saying?
My daughters probably know this. I have a daughter who teaches swing.
She knows swing.
Yeah, but first of all, I'm alcohol-free and smoke-free.
No, that's straight, man. We smoke outside. You got turntables and microphones?
I don't have that. I have an old 70s record player.
That'll work.
Okay, where are you performing?
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me 1 second.
No problem.
Yo, shut the up, man. I'm on the telephone. All right? Excuse me, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not quite sure that I can totally fit your needs.
Okay, I understand that. But y'all do keep it real over there, right?
You mean like a movie reel?
Yeah,
that's what I was talking
about. Y'all are real, right?
Yeah, you're right. We're not fake. We're real.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know rap music at all?
No, I'm afraid I don't. I like rap, particularly Christian rap.
Yeah, we could do that too. We do all that. I bust Christian rhymes, whatever you want to hear, just so long as I'm practicing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
If you want, I could even write a rap about your bed and breakfast.
That's cool. But I really got to think on this, and unfortunately I have to leave pretty soon. I'm going to work with some kids, little kids at the church tonight.
Oh, okay. Tell the kids I say God bless from the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
I mean, Aunt Reba's B&B. I'm down, it's you and me. All the way from New York to Washington, D.C. to Iowa. All the way I go.
Let me check with my husband and make sure he's willing to give up his bed.
Oh, shizzle, my nizzle.
Okay, and I guess the only concern I have is that we don't want to have some kind of, like I said, a lot of parties and a lot of ladies coming and going.
You want me all to yourself?
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right.
I know how it is on Reba. I'm sexy like this.
Okay.
All right, Wu-Tang.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, peace. I'm out.
Peace. Bye.
Hey, Greg, I didn't know we're playing it from our show.
I didn't either. Sorry.
Okay. Someone should have alerted you to that.
I like the commentary on our commentary. It's good.
That's great.
We should do this again in 10 years.
Do we got a box set of Crank Yankers somewhere?
Doesn't exist.
Well, we can swing by my dad's place. And
No,
wait, my mom's house is actually closer.
Yeah.
She has the extra copy.
She's got 2. You just get the one. Oh, she'll rather have one. She keeps one in the car in case she breaks down.
This is the whiteboard where she, whoever takes it out, she writes it down.
Right.
Somebody needs to do an inventory in my parents' house. I will offer up $7,500 for every book or box set or any article.
Yeah. With your name on it.
That possesses my name on it.
Yeah.
And I'll sleep like a baby. All right. So there was the great Dave Chappelle from 2002. And Sonny's impressed.
Good. Finally.
How's his movie education coming?
Journey.
Yeah, his journey. He's taken it upon himself.
He's on, he wants to watch all the classics. He's unfortunately, our relationship has been strained by Con Air and Face Off, and he no longer trusts me.
Right.
Sure.
So now
burned that bridge once.
I'm saying to him, you need to watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
He's like, fool me thrice, old man.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you like it? Like, it's a good film. Come on. He's like,
that's a classic.
It's in the AFI list, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, we have to verify.
Right. At one point, I recommended he make his way through the Christopher Nolan catalog. I'm wondering if that would work for him.
He is so insane that he's watching your Citizen Kanes
boy.
and these
Slow burns.
types of movies. I told you I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Sunset Boulevard.
He's watching those kinds of movies with his more modern stuff.
Citizen Kane, by comparison, is a jaunty number compared to a movie I recently watched, Lawrence of Arabia. 3
I've only
hours
seen
and 47
clips. Yeah.
minutes. It is a fucking slog.
Really?
Oh my God, it's brutal. Hey, do you like guys walking through the desert for 40 years in
I
real
like
time?
dust.
In real time?
Yeah, I obviously everyone's metronome is sped up so fast, but also when Lawrence of Arabia was playing in the theaters, what did people have to get to? They weren't going home to big screen TVs and air conditioning, and they weren't looking at their phones. Like they were going home to a sofa filled with horsehair and listening to some AM radio.
Yeah.
So this is a nice reprieve.
That's a very good point.
But hey,
There's
listen,
an intermission built in, dude.
half of the movie going experience, even for me in the 70s, especially in the San Fernando Valley in the dog days of summer with the Carollas and no air conditioning. It's like, we're just going to sit in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what they're playing. It's
totally.
air. It's 3 hours of air conditioning.
Well, you guys, are you old enough to remember when people would, probably not, people would go to the movie, plop in the middle of the movie, and then stay till the movie got to the beginning, to that point again?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the idiom, this is where we came from. Because they would come into the movie 45 minutes in, watch the final hour, then watch that first 45 minutes.
There would be double, triple features.
But this is the same movie. People would come in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, no, I know. It'd be double and triple features, the movies, Aloha, Bobby and Rose and stuff, like the slowest, nonsensical plotting way. We're 11. This is made for nobody. But if it's somebody, they're in their 30s, weird romance stories and nothingness. And we just sit there because going to the movies was basically like saying, we're going to eat.
Yeah, but it's somewhere dark and air conditioned.
And it'd be like, we don't have to eat prime rib. We go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
We're going out. I mean, I was actually talking to August about this today about I hadn't, and it's funny. It's like, we're not talking about 200 years apart. By the time I hadn't got on an airplane until I was like 32 and a half. I mean, I may have taken one Burbank to Vegas flight, and I went to someone's wedding actually in Hawaii when I was like 29 or something like that. But I maybe taken 2 commercial flights in my entire life. And we're just talking about how my kids have been to Chicago and New York and Hawaii and everywhere. And it's when I wanted to see a movie, I would collect bottles in the neighborhood, just walk around, bang, bang, bang on the door. It's like, hey, you got any bottles back there? The big 7-Up one was worth like 25 cents, or the little one was worth a nickel or some version of that. Collect them all up, take them to
a liquor store or something?
There was a liquor store named like Raleigh's or something, and just pile in these bottles, just walking everywhere, give the bottles, get the $1.10 worth of change. Maybe get a $1.35 worth of change and buy like a Rocky Road bar or something. We had to smuggle food into the theater. There's no buying inside of the theater. Buy a couple keister, a couple of Butterfingers, walk in North Hollywood to the El Portal, like where I would perform later in life. Walk over there, give them the change. I didn't really matter what they're playing. Walk in with the candy bars, sit down, and just sit in air conditioning.
Just drift away.
Watch nothing. I saw the. There was no reviews or anything. It was whatever movie was playing next to you.
And there was only one movie at El Portal, or 2 movies maybe?
This is before the multiplayer.
There was the Guild and then the El Portal.
But the El Portal showed one movie.
They would
how many
either
screens
that
do
or
they
they'd
have?
have a double feature.
Okay.
But I'm saying they had multiple screens.
Right.
It wasn't
No.
multiplex.
Yeah. They would show multiple movies on the same screen. We had a movie called Doc Savage.
What the hell is that?
Some weird comic book from the 30s.
Sonny won't watch it.
Had Aloha, Bobby and Rose. Had the Kansas City Bombers, which I thought was going to be like a World War II movie. Raquel Welch stars as a roller derby queen.
Of course.
What? Oh, now I'm in.
On
Was
the
there not a
Kansas
single
City
good
Bomber.
movie that came by? Did fucking Popeye Doyle ever play?
I ended up at the Guild seeing Rocky at some point. The first one, I ended up seeing Papillon.
All right,
Oh, my.
now we're talking.
Which is a weird movie to watch when you're young. There was of course the weird sidebar ones like Chariots of the Gods, narrated by Leonard Nimoy, like these weird Sun Classics presents Chariots of the Gods, and they do these weird things where like Leonard Nimoy would like narrate, and they'd go, "These cave drawings from Ecuador were found showing the men with a clear helmet on their head. You know, their head looked like a fishbowl. Like, is this evidence of space aliens coming down? We say yes. You know, and then they do these. There was In Search of Noah's Ark. You know, they do these weird things. Sun Classic presents, and then they do like Mount Sinai, not a birch tree within 200 kilometers, but yet we found birch bark on the top. Does that mean there's an ark made of birch? Yes.
So it's like History Channel doing ancient aliens and stuff like that.
Yeah, nothing ever happened. Nothing ever got settled.
It was inconclusive.
Right.
Oh, listen, I was yelling at, I don't know, Drew about this the other day, which is like, there was a squadron of Navy aviators, like trainers, that left Florida and crashed in the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that happened. And then we had to turn the Bermuda Triangle into a thing.
A black hole.
And then they dig real hard, and they go, Spanish galleon in 1722 sunk in a storm. But was it a storm? You know what I mean?
The forecast was clear.
So all somebody had to do is get a close-up of the compass spinning around and an altimeter spinning around. I was like, oh, my God. And then we had to discuss the Bermuda Triangle. By the way, we were in North Hollywood. I couldn't get a fucking ride to the El Portal. You think we're going to Bermuda?
Could you find Bermuda on a map?
No.
Oh, come
I
on.
didn't know where the fuck. I didn't know it was in this country. I didn't know where it was.
Is it truth time?
Yes.
I didn't know until, I would say,
Turn off the microphones.
my adult years that the Bermuda Triangle wasn't a thing. I mean, into like college, I was like, well, wait, how are we getting to Greece? What are we flying over? Like really, nobody told me to stop worrying about it.
We'd rather not chance it, like staying on the 13th floor of a hotel.
Right.
Like, all things being equal.
But I because you've heard stuff like, well, it could be, magnets. I'm like, okay, that sounds sciencey. I didn't know we were supposed to not worry about it. That was really not real.
It was real as cancer when I was growing up. Thank God we're never going to board a commercial aircraft.
Yeah, you dodge that bullet.
Do go anywhere near Bermuda. I didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
But some fucking idiot pilot, when he was 19, trainer, crashed his fucking plane into the ocean, and then we had to construct this entire thing around it, which then, I'm sure he crashed a plane in 1949. Or maybe it was 1941. This lasted well into the 80s and into the 90s.
Oh, yeah, I was aware of it.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ. And then Leonard Nimoy would have to narrate.
Oh, yeah.
That was a real thing.
He'd have to.
He'd have to. Sun Classics, Chris. You got to find Sun Classics International or something. They had all these schlocky... If this shit popped up on Netflix, you wouldn't hang with it for 10 seconds now. But it's like, that's all we got.
Yeah, it's now called Sun Classic Pictures, but was known as Sun International Pictures, Schick Sun Classic Pictures, and Taft International.
And what are some of their 70s offerings? Do they have?
Sorry, this played in the movie theater?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Not today, it doesn't. No fucking way.
The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Starting off strong.
The Adventures of Frontier Fremont. Incredible Rocky Mountain Race.
All right.
These are my daughter's books.
White people.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
There you go.
Hangar 18. The Boogans. And Cujo.
Oh.
They produced Cujo?
Yeah, that's the last one listed. So.
Who did Chariots of the Gods?
While he looks for that, I'll tell you a little film trivia. The movie that ended the come in late, stay late, whatever, was before your time, obviously, Psycho.
Oh, really?
There was a marketing thing, like no one will be allowed in once the movie starts because it's such a mystery. But obviously, it's a great movie. Obviously, it worked, and that just became the way movies were seen.
Yeah, and they do that. A nurse will be posted at the end of each aisle.
Dude, that's a great documentary. Find out where that's streaming, called Spine Tingler, about William Castle. He was a schlocky film producer in like the 60s, and he did like the seats that vibrated, the spine tingler vibrated, and he had the nurse stationed outside. Like, if this is too much for anyone, we'll have a nurse for fainting customers. And much like Chris is alluding to with Cujo, he eventually produced an all-time classic, great movie, Rosemary's Baby. But like his career was like schlocky. It
was all leading up to that.
It was all marketing. It was all gimmicks, and then Rosemary's Baby.
Wow.
Well, they should have stationed a therapist at the end of the aisle for my miserable fucking childhood. I'm going to watch these schlocky films. Chariots of the Gods was done by Terrafilm, not Sun Classics or Sun International. And I'm going to take a call, Chris, but you got to find the trailer for Chariots of the Gods and/or In Search of His Noah's Ark, nominated for Best Documentary.
That's
we
impossible.
didn't have anything going on back then.
Yeah, it was the 9th highest grossing film of the year.
How's that possible?
We'll play it too. Come on, Brian. You call yourself a film
I
historian?
gotta catch up with Sonny here.
Chariots of the Gods, the international bestseller by Eric von Däniken that shattered conventional theories about history and archaeology. Now, Sun International brings it to the screen.
Wait a
in
minute.
A startling new film.
Sun
Chariots of the
International
Gods explores von Däniken's controversial and
Doesn't say
explosive
that anywhere in
theory
the wiki.
that beings from other galaxies visited Earth in ancient times. Did a genius from another world design the pyramids? Is there evidence of a prehistoric airfield in the Andes? And what about the giant stone faces that brood over Easter Island? All over the Earth, the evidence is there. For an intriguing, fascinating, mind-opening experience, see Chariots of the Gods, rated G.
Wow. This is like...
What they would do is they would just do a weird Dutchy thing with the camera. Then they'd play some weird music.
Foot.
And they could show a picture of Mount Rushmore and go, "Was it built by aliens?" They start Dutching the camera and they go, the music would kick in and you go, "Oh my God, what's happening?"
But that's not a documentary.
No, it's a...
Am I confused as to what a documentary
well,
is?
first off, nominated for Best Doc, but not on the list of Sun Classics produced?
That's absurd.
Sketchy.
And by the way, shame on me for ever doubting myself.
Yeah.
I hope you learned a lesson here.
I thought, did I lump that in with another Sun Classics?
You and Klitschko.
I mean, it's in neither the Chariots of the Gods wiki or Sun Classics wiki, so I don't know, maybe
they weren't proud.
Yeah.
Did they do In Search of Noah's Ark? This is kind of shit I'd have to watch.
It's an Oscar nominee, buddy. You watched a quality film.
There had to be some Amelia
they did
Earhart
do
in
In
there.
Search of Noah's Ark.
Oh, okay.
Oh, now you got to find the trailer. What they would do is they'd find some straight landing strip in Egypt, and then they'd film it from the air, and they go, who put this here?
I have more documentaries.
Was it aliens? I'm like, probably not. But, all right, but you're playing weird music.
So, possibility exists.
Sorry, do you have it, Chris?
We're pulling it up right now. But I have other. There's a whole other documentary section for Sun Classics if you want.
Oh, let's hear them. Let's hear
The Mysterious Monsters.
Yeah, that would show like a 26-pound catfish.
Sure.
I don't know if aliens put it there.
The Outer Space Connection, In Search of Noah's Ark.
In Search of Noah. That was another offering. I had to go look for Noah's Ark on the weekend.
The Amazing World of Psychic Phenomena.
Oh, I gotta see that.
It would be people putting their fingers on their temples while they played more weird music.
I love it.
The Lincoln Conspiracy.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Beyond and Back, the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, of course.
Beyond and Back.
I need the trailer for the Bermuda Triangle. That more shots of the ocean with weird music, close up of compasses spinning around. Guys, my radio's not working.
Come in. Do you read me?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I'm interested. I'd like to see this, ironically, but I'd like to see it.
It's a glimpse into the 70s, like the 60s into the 70s. That's what we did. We just created schlock, and this stuff was like ham-handed. There was no craftsmanship, no filmmaking in it at all.
Wasn't necessary.
Why burn the calories?
Right.
All right, so I got a couple. I don't think we're going to play the TiVo game because Jack Osbourne's here, but we'll play it. We'll play it tomorrow. Let me just take a couple of calls here. But I would like either one of those trailers, Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, we'll pull them up.
It was the Bermuda Triangle was 73% of my life as living in landlocked North Hollywood. Sure. That was pretty much my life.
Yeah.
That and quicksand.
Same thing, essentially.
Those are like two most likely forms of death for me.
Yeah.
In my mind, from age 7 to 19.
Living on all pavement and concrete.
Am I being naive or obvious? But this is all fallout from like Kennedy, Vietnam, Nixon, Watergate. Like no one. There's a big distrust in this era, right? Like what else are they hiding from us? Kind of? That's why there's so many like alien abduction stories and crop circles and all that shit.
I buy that.
All right, is this Bermuda Triangle?
Yes.
Listen for creepy music.
Starts off.
Starts off.
Family on a nice boat.
That's a pleasure cruise.
On a yacht.
Oh. Fighter jets? Hot chick, bikini.
It's Cameron Diaz.
Everyone's having a good time. Planes flying.
My God. What's this?
The sun.
I've lost you.
Can't control plane.
Can't control plane. This is a feature.
Yeah, this isn't a doc.
I was about to say, this is art. Mayday, there it is.
Oh.
I've studied the ocean all my life. I've been in some rough situations, storms.
Is that Attenborough?
Fogs. Even a few hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
Dino DNA.
I don't know what to make of it.
Dolls in the water.
As if something.
Compass shot. Spinning.
Fuck is this?
All right, so I'm sure I saw this one in the theater somewhere too. Bermuda Sharks.
Jaws.
All right, give me In Search of Noah's Ark, and then we'll bring Jack Osbourne in here. But this was a feature.
That was a feature film. That was not a documentary.
Wow.
I mean, if you want to call it a feature film.
It's a narrative film.
These were the burnt offerings we had in the movie theater, including a movie called Burnt Offerings.
That's outrageous.
Which was
ironic.
was a horror movie from
like
1975.
Okay.
Maybe Karen Black or something was in it.
What happened in Burnt Offerings? Is there a religious theme?
Good-looking chick being chased or something. I don't remember, but there was a film called Burnt Offerings.
You described every horror film of the 70s.
A family moves into a large old mansion in the countryside, which seems to have a mysterious and sinister power over its residents.
74, 75.
76.
Houses were evil in the 70s.
Oh, man, your houses hated you.
Yeah.
Back then. Super mean houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I feel bad for in the evil possessed houses. I feel bad for the decks. The decks are out back going, what did I do?
Come on, relax.
Yeah, crack a beer. What about a barbecue?
Yeah,
I got a fucking house that's trying to kill me.
Pitch a tent. Stay with me.
Grab that Adirondack chair.
Yeah, pull up some redwood. Take a load off.
The deck.
Well, none of those houses had a deck. If they had a deck, the deck could have talked some.
They'd be fine.
Deck could have talked some fucking sense into them because the deck.
Chill out. We got a good thing going on here.
Yeah, no, we gotta.
No, we don't.
But you had to stay inside the house.
Yeah. I feel like the deck would be the voice of reason in any of those houses.
Absolutely.
But they never had a deck.
So the trailer isn't available on YouTube,
Oh.
but the full movie is.
Yes, buy it.
Oh, no.
Well, you can watch. I mean, it's for free on YouTube.
Buy it anyway.
Yeah, well, we should.
All right.
Son.
All right.
Please don't tell me we're starting
Is this
from the
a Sun
beginning.
Classic
Yeah,
International?
we just click somewhere in the middle. We could watch a little bit.
Okay. Noah's Ark.
The story of Noah, according to the Bible. Is it true?
I'm 11.
Could the ark have been built so that it would stay afloat for 13 months?
What's John Landis doing?
Would it have been big enough to carry all those animals?
I'm 12 years old watching
Was
this.
the earth actually covered with water?
I just want to see some titties.
And finally, since the wood of the ark was soaked with pitch, wouldn't there be some evidence still in existence in the area known as Ararat?
I don't
Those are
know.
valid questions.
Are they?
And in the search for Noah's ark, they are the questions that must be examined.
Look at the scientists.
We
in the
can
back.
start here in this geology lab.
They always have someone in a
As we
lab
examine the
doing
evidence
busy work.
for the historic possibilities of a universal flood. A global flood would have had to deposit huge amounts of sedimentation throughout the world. It has been estimated that over 75% of the surface of the globe is sedimentary in nature.
Ipso facto.
Has immense sedimentary deposits located in California, the Colorado Plateau.
Every
and the
one of
Midwest
these films was like, oh,
But India has
all
the
right.
deepest
He's
known.
breaking news with the erosion of red rocks.
So this movie made $55.7 million.
Oh my god.
It was the 6th highest grossing film of the year.
What was it up against?
Why do I have no knowledge of this?
It's not even a real movie. It's not a movie. It's not a doc. What is it? It's like National Enquirer TV.
It's air conditioning and a payday bar, and I don't hear my mom yelling freak out in the bedroom. I could just sit somewhere with air conditioning.
Yeah,
It's
so
a win.
Sun Classic Pictures identified its market as working class families who rarely went to the movies more than twice a year.
Oh.
Nailed it.
So they're
Market
appealing to the
research.
lowest common denominator. People just don't give a shit.
Yeah. They're not discerning.
Right.
All right, real quick, because I've been on hold for a million years. I'll talk to Ryan, 50, Dallas, Texas. Ryan?
Hey, it's Brian. Just wanted to, I think I can top Carrot Top's story about Jerry Lewis and having to go on stage after someone has died.
Yeah, Carrot Top. Yes.
Go ahead.
He was telling a story about the telethon, and the kid was claimed by leukemia.
And here's
then they
Carrot Top.
brought up Carrot Top. Yeah, you got one.
So I used to be a comedian. A comedy friend of mine asked me to perform in a benefit show for his high school friend who was battling cancer. And the show was to raise money to help him pay for his medical bills. And it was planned out about 3 months in advance. And he asked me if I'd go on first. There wasn't going to be a host or anything. Well, the day of the show, the guy died that afternoon.
Oh, no.
Show must go on?
Or was he? The Bermuda Triangle.
Exactly. All of the people in the audience, like 150, they were all his high school friends and people who knew him.
Oh, man.
So that's one thing. But right before I was supposed to go on, 2 people very slowly helped his elderly mother walk out on stage up to the microphone. And as she was crying, talking about her son and how she was thanking everyone, and people in the audience started crying, and then they slowly helped her off stage. And then this lady who was a radio DJ announced my name, and I had to go out there and tell jokes.
That's horrific.
That does
That's rough.
beat Carrot Top's story. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. Sorry, we got Jack Osbourne just waiting there. I just, because he's been on hold for a while. Joel?
Yeah. You talking to me?
Yeah, I want to say hi to Gina.
He's from Minnesota, we should
Hi,
point out.
Joel.
Hey. Listen to your show. Interesting. I've seen all that stuff.
Okay.
Growing up in the 70s like that.
Do you remember Sun Classics International?
Yeah, I watched all them In Search of things, but man, they've come quite a way since then. The 70s were kind of weird.
Yeah.
Thanks for the insight, Joel. We got
Anything else?
we got
or
Jack
we good?
Osbourne waiting out there.
Well, I just like your car shows and stuff. I seen your number on Twitter today, so I figured I'd call in. Then I'm kind of sabbatical out here in the woods for a month or so.
There you go.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks so much,
There's
Joel.
All right,
some
man.
ice
Keep
fishing
up,
for me.
Keep it up, man.
Okay.
The Bermuda Triangle was...
So there were 2 Bermuda Triangles that came out within a year. So that was
Coke
the
and Pepsi.
film. The documentary, we have a 30-second commercial of it. This is the
This
probably
is the doc.
this is
All
the
right,
doc.
This is what I'm thinking of. It's a big deal.
A wedge of ocean that has terrified man for centuries. How is it related to the mysterious forces of nature that sweep through it? Why do some who fly over it report a strange green haze and bizarre magnetic effects?
Ah, there's
while others
the compass.
vanish? And how can these forces affect you? Learn the incredible answers in a new motion picture, The Bermuda Triangle, rated G.
Starts Wednesday in theaters and drive-ins throughout Southern California for 1 week only. Check your newspaper for a theater near you.
That's a big deal.
I love, and how can it affect you?
Not going to affect me.
It's really one way and one way only.
I'm not leaving my service porch in North Hollywood. Thank you very much. All right, Jack Osbourne is going to join us right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Terminate with extreme prejudice.
If you said Apocalypse Now,
Terminate with extreme prejudice.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Jack Osbourne has joined us. He's got a show, Portals to Hell. It is season 2 is available, and now you can watch at watch.travelchannel.com. And he's exploring haunted places, so we'll get into that because it's been a little bit of a theme. Good to see you, Jack.
Good to see you, too.
Congratulations on coming out the other side and being normal. And
I certainly try. Normal is a sliding scale, though. Let's be honest.
But you had to work pretty hard at it because you didn't get out of the gate normal.
Yeah, we all get given different decks of cards, I guess.
Yeah, the Osbournes was, for those who can't recall, was just such a crazed phenomenon, and
doesn't get its due, strangely enough.
It's the
20-year anniversary Friday.
Oh,
really?
shit.
Yeah, 20-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
That's depressing.
So did you start at 16 then?
Yeah, we started film. I was 15 when we started.
I think I think Love Line was some storyline in one of the episodes once.
And you came over for the Christmas special, and we made cranberry sauce together.
Oh, he loves cranberry sauce.
That's my thing. Yeah, I remember going over to the house, and it was it was a weird experimental time in TV. It wasn't that long ago, but we didn't have a handle on the reality stuff very well.
And there was money then, too.
Oh, yeah. They used to pay.
Yeah, they did.
And actually, watching that show was the first time I ever saw like a vocal GPS in a car.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, what is that? Who's talking to him? I'd never seen it before, but it was cutting edge in the
future was
in
bright.
Ozzy's house. Yeah.
I saw on TMZ just a couple of nights ago your mom and your dad walking out of a restaurant or something, and they got hold of your mom and they want to know about getting fired from the Talk or the Gab or the whatever the hell, the Reel or whatever the fuck they're calling their fake shows.
Yeah.
And she was pissed.
Yeah, she's, I think right. I mean, listen. She got fired from a show called The Talk, having a conversation about something we're all told to have a conversation about, and she got fired for it.
We've been over this many times.
First things first. Stop advertising your shows. Anything could happen. Right. This is real talk.
Uncensored.
Buckle up.
Right.
Unemployable people, buckle up for the best 11 a.m. show out there. And then somebody says something, but I often cite your mom's situation because in a world where Donald Trump is talking about grabbing pussy and Billy Bush gets fired. There's this weird world of fragging the people who are walking next to the person. Look, I'm not a forensics expert, but I don't think crime works that way.
But here's the fuck thing is that I couldn't come out and be like, this is fucked because I could, that, like you're talking about fragging people, like the blast radius of that, I was like, oh wait, I've got kids. Like I need to have jobs. Like I don't want to be unemployed due to this.
So Billy Bush is standing next to Trump from 10 years earlier, by the way.
Yeah, when Trump was just the guy on TV.
Right. And he gets, I can't be explaining exactly why that person needed to be fired.
He knows what he did.
He stood next to a guy. And then there's Chris Harrison from The Bachelor who gets fragged for, again, these aren't people that were involved.
No,
they were just
there
or commented on it. And then the Meghan Markle thing with Piers Morgan, there's such a tenuous string to your mom being racist in that it's insane. He's like, he's a Brit. She talked shit about the crown. He disagreed and said, I don't believe her. Then your mom stood up for him, and now your mom's got to go out to the cornfield?
Yeah, it's a real weird. It's weird, and the real story, and I don't want to tell it for her. She's writing a book. How the whole thing came out was like some weird like cabal of like, you know, cloaked figures in, you know, in the halls of TV being like, okay, how do we get a attaboy tick for the network this week? Like it's clearly what it was.
Well, it has to be something other than what it is, because what it is nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bunch of women who are paid to talk. This guy's in the news. She's a countryman.
Yeah.
Your mom. Oh, your mom. Is your mom from England?
She's English, yeah.
And she was out here when I think she met your dad, as I remember the story. But she stands up for a colleague, essentially, and then she's called racist. It's all insane. It doesn't make sense.
But nothing really makes sense these days. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all just living in a weird, like hyper reality.
Yeah, and it's the sad part is, it then goes. You know, you get. This is the problem. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. We only have so much room on the hard drive. Mm-hmm. So then when you go ahead a few years, you go, oh, once you get fired, oh, she said that something racist. She said something to the black chick next to her. She called her something or something. She said something. Because I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the dangerous part. Whether it's your mom or Al Franken, we can't wrap our minds around nothing. Right. So we go, oh, she got fired for her. He lost the Senate seat or whatever the thing is. And then our brain has to do some bridge work.
It had to be worthy of the punishment.
He had to do something. Yeah. What did he do? Oh, he took a goofy picture in the back of a C-130 aircraft and she's wearing a flak jacket. Or like, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll lump him in with the Harvey Weinstein or something. Ugh.
Yeah, and it's a real it's the new Scarlet Letter. Like you can't shake that. You can't shake this new, like, you are smeared, therefore, for eternity. And it's like, never mind the 50 years of accomplishments before. It's like, no, the world has now labeled you because of some bullshit at a network.
Yeah. There is no, the great Mike August always says, you cannot accrue any points in the woke bank. It doesn't matter how many taxes you pay, who you help, what you do. Yeah. You could adopt half of Africa. You get that Scarlet Letter, you're out.
Yeah.
You can't cash any of them in.
I sincerely hope that in her case, she said, this is going to affect my earnings from now until I die, so you better make me whole.
It wasn't even about necessarily that, because let's be honest, TV doesn't pay shit, and it's not, and everyone's like, whatever, billions. It's like, no, it's daytime TV. Yeah, it's not like... And she was going to quit that season anyway. She was like, I've done 10 seasons. This is it. Like, I want to leave. And it was more, for her, it was like, don't kick me out the door like this. Yeah. We've had like 10 great years.
Where's my cake and my champagne toast?
Exactly. Like everyone that left that show before her got like this glorious, ride off into the sunset. Right. Even, other people on that show whose husbands got fired for doing some really not so cool things got awesome exits.
Les Moonves and what's her name?
Julie
Chen, who didn't even have the dignity to go in there and do it in person. She did like a pre-prepared sort of hostage statement or something. Fucking cowards. It's just, we need to stop listening to these idiots. That's really, it's really the problem.
And it's, as I dare say this, everyone just needs to stop listening to fucking celebrities. Let's be honest. And that's probably like me saying that. It's like, it's insane. Like, why do we care?
Well, it's an interesting thing, and I don't know if it's always been around, but it's like when we were talking yesterday, the 18 to 34 demo, and it's not really a thing that we made it into a thing, We've had more than one example now of some primary or some race politically, where it's like Oprah's coming out and is going to endorse and she's coming out and she's going to speak to the crowd, or George Clooney or whatever, and then the person loses.
Right.
Like, I don't think it is what it was.
Yeah.
Or maybe it never was.
Right.
But the celebrity endorsement now, if you're a candidate, it doesn't get you in.
Yeah. No.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is I think people are they're seeing through it.
Yeah.
Is there a kingmaker anymore? Because like even like the people Trump endorses, you'd think, oh, they're golden with like the with certain people. It's like no, they're mixed bag too.
There was Oprah and President Obama, and if the big guns came out, they gave you the Midas touch. You were in. They just did it, and the guy didn't win.
Crickets.
Yeah, that's and then there's the weird one. Then there's the Trump. There's a Trump don't endorse me, and there's a Biden don't endorse me now. Yeah. People don't want him in his 37% approval rating coming out and putting the stink on him. So, yeah, thank God. Maybe we've turned the page on celebrities.
I hope so, because it really is mind-numbing at this point.
What was when you started the Osbourne show? Did you have expectations? You could have never thought it was going to blow up that way.
I literally did it because I was turning 16, and I was like, so if I do this, they're going to pay me, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how much? They're like $35,000. And I'm like, cool, I can buy a car. Like, that was my whole reason for doing it. It just, it kind of became this thing.
But you do have a sister that didn't participate.
Yeah.
Just probably just didn't want to be in the spotlight, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's got her reasons. It's one of those things where we
just went into it.
She just wasn't into it, and we never really we never bring it up, being like, so why did you never want to?
Was it hard to film around her, or
no,
she didn't live at the house?
She moved out.
Okay.
Yeah, she was like doing there's a whole laundry list of reasons why, but yeah, she opted out.
I famously got in an argument with your sister who was on the show.
Kelly.
But this has to make... I don't want you to take a side, Jack.
Okay.
What would you do if you're in my position?
But by all means, side with the podcast.
Was this K-Rock days?
Yes.
Okay, but there was a lot of like Osbourne K-Rock beef back then.
Was there?
Oh, yeah. There was like weird... Because like K-Rock would never play my dad's music, but they would play every band that toured under my dad on tours.
Oh, really?
And then like Kevin and Bean used to like rip me and my sister to pieces.
Really?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like you're like, wait, you're saying that about kids? Like, what the fuck?
Answer for this, Adam.
No. So
but
I mean,
Loveline was a different flavor.
Right.
You guys, I have pictures with you.
Oh
and
yeah,
your
no,
mom.
it was never Loveline was always a neutral ground.
But morning shows had their own vibe.
Yeah, but I mean, love for Kevin and Bean now. They've been cool as we're adults and they can't really make fun of us anymore.
Well, they still do privately, but they don't have the microphone in front of them. Yeah, your sister came on, and I had announced women know nothing about World War II. I've always said that. I cannot tell you how many women I've interviewed whose dads were like, flew off of aircraft carriers and A4s and F4s and stuff. And they're like, he did something in the world in Vietnam, but I don't remember what it was. But I've never met a woman who really knew about World War II. Now, I'm not blaming them. They're not interested. Guys go nuts for World War II.
I used to draw like in school in art class, I would draw like B-17s. Like that was my thing.
They would love that shit.
Yeah.
I can't tell you all the German half-tracks I've sketched on a peachy folder.
Sorry to sidetrack you. Have you seen the B-17 camp you can go do?
No.
Adam?
Yes?
Dude?
There's a B-17 camp.
You can go and you spend like a week learning about a B-17. You fly on it and you fly a mock mission where you can operate all the turret guns and you can drop a dummy bomb.
Wow.
It's in Stockton.
Yes.
It's in California.
It's first off, if you ever climb into those planes, you will have such a crazy respect for what those guys had to do. There's no comfort, there's no convenience, there's
no
like a ladder,
anywhere.
it's like crawl over this bomb to get to the cockpit. They're tin cans.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane what those guys did in those airplanes. But I said so I made the announcement, women don't know anything about World War II. And then your sister came in, and she was probably 17 at the time, and she said, I know everything about World War II.
Okay.
And I was like, how is this possible? And she then gave me a very probable possibility. She said, my dad, he's obsessed because he was born in England shortly after the Blitz, and he grew up around bomb craters and broken down buildings and stuff, and he watches, World at War all night, and I just sit next to him.
I buy that.
Thus, I know everything, too, which I thought, all right, you beat me. That's feasible.
Did you start quizzing her, though?
Well, if you know anything about me, there's always a follow-up question. So I said, let's just start. Okay, let me just poke around a little. Let's start very basically. Allied Axis powers. Like, I don't need to know what side Australia was on. I just like the main ones, the biggies. You know, the good and the bad. Just a couple of the players there. And she's like, oh, that's a trick question. I said, no, it is not.
It's really not.
It's really say Germany.
Real cut and right.
Really basic.
It's the $100 question on Millionaire.
And then she said, oh, please, trick question. And then Drew started getting uncomfortable. He was like, all right, turn the page. Turn the page. I was like, no, you would have turned. I made it. And her thing was, trick question. Your comment about women not knowing anything is incorrect. I know about World War II. And I was like, no, you don't, if you don't know who fought in it. Yeah. And then Drew's like, let's take some calls. And I was like, I'm not doing this until you admit you don't know anything about World War II.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
You could picture your sister doing that back then.
100% can. Yeah, because yeah.
I was fine. I think your sister was fine. I think Drew
he was traumatized.
He
Friendly
was traumatized by this entire situation. But yeah, your dad probably a World War II buff, right?
Like if you go to his library, it's books about like the Beatles and World War II.
Wow.
And,
Really?
like, other musicians. Yeah, that's it. He just die hard.
Yeah, I saw. God, what about that crazy accident your dad got into on the
motorcycle
quad run or whatever he was in?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
That was
I don't
on the
people
show.
remember that. Was that on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. It
Yeah.
must
I
have been
remember
toward the end.
Yeah. It was
What
like
was
2000.
that story?
Ties back to World War II. He was riding the quad bike through our property in England, which is we're just kind of we're northwest of London, and there was an overgrown bomb crater that he drove into, and it flipped the quad bike.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like broken ribs.
Oh,
and-
he was in like a coma, broken neck, everything. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He has cheated death a few times.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he can.
I would say.
Yeah, he certainly has.
I don't know him well, but he seems like a very sweet guy.
He is. He's great.
For
He's awesome.
whatever his. I mean,
He came on Loveline, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he for his on-stage persona, off-stage, very humble, sweet guy.
If you love World War II, you were to sit that's an instant in with him. If you were to sit there and be like, "Have you seen this doc?" He would just he'd chat your ear off all day.
Bermuda Triangle.
So
he's really into UFOs and Bermuda Triangle as
Oh,
well.
now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah, full circle.
It is interesting that the common thought was this has been the plot of 25 movies. There's aliens, but once the populace finds out, it'll be chaos.
Mhm.
So we can't let them know, and we have Area 42 or whatever, 51. Yeah,
All
so
the
you don't
area.
even know about the 42.
Jackie Robinson?
The point is, yeah, I was thinking about that movie. So now there is some actual semi-credible UFO-y cockpit footage from fighter jets and stuff, and nobody gives two shits.
Yeah.
No one
Totally.
gives a shit.
Yeah.
We're so crazy narcissistic that's like, how's that affect me?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
but
weird,
I
right?
don't actually think those are UFOs. I think
What do you
that's
think?
I think it's full on military. I do. Because coincidentally, you have was it China launches their hypersonic missile 6 months later after we just show these really crazy, what are these things flying faster and moving in ways that defies gravity and physics.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's a little psyops.
Whatever it is, like I had a stepdad who worked for the Skunk Works at Lockheed and years ago, but they were on, they were building stealth fighters and bombers and stuff. Stealth, it's invisible. The stuff that sounds pretty mind-numbing becomes kind of commonplace at some point. But I got to tell you, with what's going on in Ukraine and Putin putting his family in a bunker and talking about gassing up the nukes, for the first time ever, I'm like, I hope our government's up to some super secret shit that I don't know about that's going to fucking fix this.
Yeah. But people conflate UFO with alien or extraterrestrial. It just means unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
So I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
So when did you have your turnaround? I mean, I know that you had your bouts with substance. I know you've been sober for a long time. I know there was mental issues. There's substance issues, every kind of issue. And then either you die or you climb Mount Kilimanjaro, right? Like those are your kind of two choices.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, it was. You know what it was? I think for me, it was the conscious growing up in LA. I mean, you're North Hollywood local, like you.
Oh, your lives are interchangeable.
Well, no, but it's LA's LA,
Yeah.
and like you're like, this place is fucking nuts, and everyone in here is like, I have this whole theory that all anyone is doing in LA is looking for God. It's a whole side project, but I just was like, I don't want to be like everyone here, and so I'd got sober. I'd been sober like 2.5 years, and then I started kind of traveling, and I did the show in England for 5 years where I just traveled around the world doing a bunch of different extreme sports and climbed El Cap and ran with the bulls in Pamplona and wrestled guys in India. It was just this whole crazy, awesome, 5 years. And it just kind of exposed me to the real world to a degree, which LA is not, and I so much prefer having that experience and kind of getting out there and, and exploring planet Earth than just sticking around here, schmoozing up to some kind of someone in hopes that could lead to fortune and wealth. It's not my bag.
Well, LA's interesting because it's, I always kind of would say like the top 10% of assholes from around the country move here.
Thank you.
The Olympics about
so it's like a lot of people come here to do something. And then there's the other side of it, which is just folks coming from Honduras and Mexico to do something too. So now you have this weird population of this sort of service class of people that are essentially like refugees that are doing all the
surviving,
doing all the nannying and all the cleaning and all the mowing and all the yard work and the tree service and all the shit the weird white people don't want to do, but the white people aren't really in a community because they're from somewhere else and they're trying to do something. And when you're somewhere and you're trying to do something, you're not really in the community. You're like, I'm working on this. I don't have time to come visit with you. Yes, Brian.
Another bizarre subset, speaking of our guest, which granted is a fraction of that, but like rich kids and then like celebrity kids, you know what I mean? Like, did you have friends who were in that group?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I imagine you did. And were people constantly? Coming out of the woodwork? Not coming out, but like you could tell people who wanted something, right? Who wanted that access or just that whatever.
For sure, there's like the fun friends that only just want to go to the club and screw around and go on trips and just kind of ride the coattails. And then there's the friends that I'm not in the business of making friends anymore. I have enough friends. It's like, I've got my like 10 favorites on my phone, and that includes my parents. It's like, I'm not. So that I learned very quickly. Like once I got good friends, like I'm not trying to get new ones. And
I was going to ask if you want to hang out, but
I mean, we'll see. I mean, we can. No. Maybe acquaintances.
You speak very highly of your parents, which is good.
My mom says hi, by the way. I was speaking to her on the way here.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to interview her. So blow that one out.
Yeah,
but
she'd come on.
I'm a fan of hers because she speaks her mind. But also, she's a very savvy businesswoman, too.
And elegant.
But I think there's a lot of people that growing up how you grew up could have a beef with the parents. It's possible.
Yeah, I think
so. It doesn't take much to have a kid hate their parents, no matter.
Tell us.
Yes. Well, I was lavish with gifts, but yet I'm still bitter. But I mean, there's a lot of looking through the rearview mirror. What the hell did you put me on TV for? I was a minor. You fucked my life up, or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, but you don't have any of that.
No, I just because I'm a big fan of personal accountability. Like I made the choice ultimately to go, hey, I want to do the Osbournes. Like Amy moved away. She had made the choice.
The sister. Yeah.
And,
other sister.
I made the choice to, hey, I want to see what drugs and alcohol is like. And that took me where it took me. I made the choice to get sober. And so I made the choice to actively pursue TV as a career and open up, start a production company and produce TV shows and keep doing it. So I can't blame anyone for my choices. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that I see in with some of the people I grew up with who just are like, fuck my dad, he didn't give me a Maybach for Christmas or whatever, and it's, I just don't, I don't know. It never resonated with me, the kind of, I never had like a super deep connection with a lot of those people that I grew up with. Some of them, like Kimberly Stewart, Rod Stewart's daughter, is still one of my closest friends today. We've been friends for years. She's an awesome, awesome woman. And, we're just, we're very close. And so that's, she's probably my only friend.
Was this the mindset that you had before you were sober, or is this more of a sober thought?
Yeah, it was very much a sober thought. I think, it was just kind of, I think, Clear heads prevail.
I would like to live in a world where everyone had a problem with a substance and then got sober because they've gone through the steps, they internalized, they're
have
so
learned
much better.
Just because you could be a drunk asshole, and just because you're sober, you still could be an asshole.
Very true.
There's a lot of sober assholes.
Well, I'm never going to join their ranks.
No one likes a quitter. No.
All right, we got the news coming. I should set the table with the news that attorney Mark Geragos is going to be chiming in.
Heavily involved in the top story today.
There's breaking news. And he came in here buzzing the other day about it, maybe a day or so ago, but
very interested in this story.
Could not speak into a microphone about it.
But it's been 24 hours?
There was an arraignment or something.
Yesterday.
People frequently get angry at Mark for talking.
Correct.
Before it's time to talk.
Right.
Leave it there.
Is this like a global story or like an LA story?
TMZ.
Local to the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's global in the sense that the person is known.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's, some murder charges, I think. So it's its own thing. So Mark's going to chime in. We'll tell you the story, and we'll do that in the news right after this.
So let's set the table with this story, and then I think Mark's going to call in and give us more details. The AP reports that former two-time UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez was charged Wednesday with attempted murder and multiple gun assault charges after authorities said he fired at a pickup truck carrying a man accused of sexually abusing Cain's 4-year-old family member. Not sure how they're related, but a relative of his. Velasquez was arrested after he chased a pickup truck carrying this guy, Harry Galarte, through busy streets in Silicon Valley. He rammed him during this 11-mile high-speed chase, according to prosecutors.
Oh, he chased him. Sorry, in his car. I was picturing him running after the car. Sorry.
In a literal foot chase.
He's a physical guy.
Yeah, it could happen. They also said he fired a .40 caliber pistol at the vehicle several times, wounding Galarte's stepfather, who was driving. And we're going to have Mark in to talk about it, or at least on, because he is representing Velasquez. And let me just give you a little bit more detail as to what happened.
By the way,
yeah,
I did a Toyota celebrity race Grand Prix with Cain Velasquez. He's a scary dude.
Yeah, when he's not mad at you.
It's like bad news. It's Cain Velasquez. Worse, he's got a gun.
Yeah.
Like it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Oh, but wait. Yeah, we can top it. He hurt one of your small, young family members.
Oh.
So let me give you a little detail on that.
He was a reigning heavyweight UFC baddest man on the planet champ for some time. He had some injuries and stuff like that and sort of had to retire. But he was one of the all-time greats in the heavyweight division.
Well, sources say that the man allegedly molested Velasquez's relative at this daycare that they were at, and was ultimately arrested and charged with a felony count of lewd and lascivious act with a child under 14. But that man was granted a release from custody following an arraignment hearing that apparently they really fought that at the district attorney's office, and Cain was pissed when this guy got out. Sources say that he was infuriated so much he attempted to take justice into his own hands and shoot the guy while he was in a car outside of a local school, by the way. Not sure he should have been near a school.
Yeah, the
street justice.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It reminds me, I'll just buy some time before we bring Geragos in on this. What was that story I was telling you about? Was that Tubbs, was it? Or what's the name I was telling you?
Hannah Tubbs or James Tubbs. Oh.
Yeah, there's this crazy story about this guy who molested this 10-year-old in the bathroom, and he's been let out, or he went to a juvenile facility. It's all fucked up. But the part that I was kind of drilling down on was, you guys know this story?
Is the friend who was waiting outside?
No, that's Laughlin or Vegas. That's Vegas. That's 20 years ago.
So, thankfully, I don't know.
10-year-old. Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so Hannah Tubbs is she identifies as a female.
Well, you can show a picture of Hannah Tubbs, but anyway.
But when just days before her 18th birthday, when she was identifying as a guy, James Tubbs, he went into a bathroom and sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl.
Now, here's the problem. So that's
Hannah?
that's Ms.
that's
Tubbs. Yeah, over there. It says dude is a dude. Looks like he played linebacker in junior college.
Looks like Dawson's military cousin.
He's all neck.
Yeah. All right. So there's a thing going on, and it's kind of interesting because, I've always said language. They're controlling the language and they're fucking everything up. So when you hear this story reported, they go, a 10-year-old girl went into a bathroom at a Denny's. Then she came in to the bathroom, although she has a fucking boner and cock and balls.
But she was a he then.
And first off, you're grandfathered in. If you did your raping as a dude, you'll go to dude prison. That's what you are. That's what you were when you... By the way, rape's a 10-year-old. Now, we don't feel comfortable oftentimes on TV or radio saying rape. We say assaulted. The assault. They've said. So here's the story. 10-year-old goes in the bathroom. She comes in and assaults the 10-year-old. You're sort of like, well, Al Franken assaulted that lady on the airplane, right? Like what George Bush, when he smacked her on the ass, was accused of assault. Like, so we've taken assault and we've taken all the teeth out of it. And then when you're trying to tell the story, imagine trying to tell the story, you go like, then she came in to the bath, the 10-year-old came, she came in, she assaulted the person, and then
the 10-year-old did the assaulting?
The 10-year-old was assaulted, then she left, and now it's kind of like, I don't know what the fuck. What are we talking about? We're talking about a guy who raped a 10-year-old.
But the crazy thing about that case is that they only got him on this 10-year-old charge, with the 10-year-old who was sexually assaulted, because he went and sexually assaulted another person in another state, and his DNA pinged.
Oh my God.
So this girl, is a serial sex offender, and then didn't it come out that she was bragging on the phone to her dad about like, I'm just gonna get a slap on the wrist and I'll be out soon.
Yeah, they have the recordings of the prison conversations, and then it's this thing where it's like, and then she wants to go into a woman's prison. It's like, politically correct idiots. You're fucking our story up so much. She, who is a he, who's gaming the system, because I'd rather go into a women's prison, especially as a pedophile, than a men's prison as a pedophile. Yeah. But we're so politically correct, now we have to call her she all the time. And by the way, those who are down with the trans community, this is not helping you. This is not who you want to fucking hitch your team to, you idiots.
No.
This guy's a fucking pedophile criminal, and you guys are like, hey, make sure you use the right pronouns. No, because now it's confusing. So now we're outraged that she wants to go into a woman's prison. Yeah. It's like...
you know who else is outraged? George Gascon.
Oh, yeah. Super
shocking. Let me tell you.
Love that guy.
Yeah, from the LA Times, Gascon previously told the Times that the victim, who has moved away from California and remains in therapy, did not want to testify. He also expressed concern that as a transgender woman, Tubbs could be victimized in a jail for adults.
It's kind of part of the
Tubbs is... first off, okay. You can't call yourself a woman and then become a transgendered woman. That means there's no more rules. I get to call myself a woman and walk into any bathroom I want in any spa.
I've seen your driver's license.
The Wii Spa. That's true. I mean, this is insane. Everybody, you're allowed to have surgery and hormones and therapy and whatever and become a woman. You're not allowed to announce you're a woman and then go to a women's prison.
Yeah.
But now you have a fucking sex fiend, a guy who fucks 10-year-old women with a cock and balls living with women.
It's inherently flawed.
Yeah.
Look, everything is dogs on a plane. Just listen, people. I can tell you where this is going to end.
Mm-hmm.
We decided everyone could fly with their dog because they're emotionally with the next thing you know, it's a fucking kennel. Wake up, everyone. Stop being scared. Everyone's so scared of being, I don't want to be called I'm a PC or whatever it is. We're fucked.
Yeah.
Where's Garagos, by the way? And he identified as a female after the prosecution. So
how convenient.
Right. But his dick worked good enough to fuck a 10-year-old.
Yeah, and other people.
Yes, and other people.
To what Jack said, here's a quote apparently from I'm looking at I think a Fox News screen grab from Tubbs. Don't worry about it. It's a strike, but they're going to plead. I'm a plead out to them and plead guilty. They're going to they're going to stick me on probation, and it's going to be dropped. It's going to be done. I won't have to register.
You can find that clip, Chris, because we talked about the world's best dad at the beginning of the show. The world's worst dads. How you doing, son? Don't worry, Dad.
No, but he says in that convo, and if I get busted again, I'm just going to run from the cops.
And Dad's like, all right, son, do you have to register as a sex offender? No, Dad, I don't.
Okay, then, good talk.
All right, kiddo, I'll pick you up. You got money for lunch?
Love you, pal. Proud of you.
Now, your sister called shotgun, but I know the holding tank's been tough on you, so I'm going to move her to the back seat, all right, boy?
For your safety and hers.
We're swinging by in and out. We double-double? I mean,
Animal
it's
style.
a crazy, weird conversation.
Yeah.
All right, we'll double back to this, but Garagos is on. Mark?
That, by the way, hi, guys. Hi, Gina. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Good. So you realize that tape has upended the DA's recall situation. The first time that ever George Gascon has reversed a policy is after that tape came out. I mean, it has single-handedly reversed all of his policies. And by the way, triggered, I believe, Rick Caruso contributing money to the recall campaign.
Yeah, who may be the next mayor of Los Angeles. All right, so Cain Velasquez, how did you get involved?
I got a call and was told about what was going on. As usual, I'm not the most UFC proficient. As you know, I told you this joke before when a number of years ago, over a decade ago, when somebody called me regarding Chris Brown and Rihanna. I actually asked my daughter at the time, who was in high school, who's Chris Brown and what's a Rihanna? So I didn't really know much about Cain Velasquez, but thankfully Gary Patrick Smith filled me in quickly. And it's interesting because 10 years ago, Adam, I don't know if you remember this, we had a case in that same courthouse in Santa Clara with a gentleman named William Lynch. And William was molested by a priest when he was young. And he tracked down the priest a number of years later at a kind of one of these retired pedophilia priest houses.
Oh, shouldn't call him that. Yeah, there shouldn't be that many.
There should be a euphemistic name.
Yeah, they apparently the church has a house where they put the defrocked pedophiliacs, and he apparently, according to the prosecution, rang the doorbell and beat the shit out of the guy after asking him if he remembered. Mind you, that jury took all of about 3 minutes to acquit him and find him not guilty. Wow. And that was 10 years ago. And now I'm not going to repeat anything that the DA hasn't announced, but the district attorney, after they arrested Cain, conceded that they had arrested a gentleman. He had been released over the DA's objections, and I haven't independently confirmed that, but I have no reason not to believe it. And that person was charged with repeated instances of molestation, including of a relative of Cain, and was out, on no bail at the time that this supposed incident took place. So, I got a call, and obviously we sent up Alexandra, and I'll be there on Monday to argue to get him out on bail.
And isn't it the guy who did the molesting, that's his mom ran the daycare and he lived there, right?
Correct. That's what that's
so plenty of access
what the DA
to
is
kids.
saying.
Yeah.
That not only did he live there, but if you believe the allegations, this is all coming from the DA. The DA says that this was done on scores of occasions with little kids and told not to tell anyone. And by the way, I'm also told, I think I've independently confirmed, that this daycare center was operating not on a valid state permit or license at this point.
What a shock.
This New World Order, and maybe Gascon will be removed because of this sort of revolving door of criminals thing. And, Mark's all about reform, but a guy selling Lucy's on the corner is one thing. We don't need him rotting in prison, but the molesters,
yeah, he can go.
The people that are randomly punching people in the face in the subway terminals and stuff. I would like to see that person somewhere where they couldn't go out and do their shit again. Yes,
Am
Brian.
I ignorant, or is Gascon the L.A. District Attorney?
Yeah.
This took place in San Jose?
Correct. The DA in Santa Clara is a gentleman by the name of, I believe this is Jeff Rosen. And it's part of the problem is people will... you can't have a one-size-fits-all solution to everything. I mean, that just doesn't work in the criminal justice system. And I've said for decades that the criminal justice system has, they've kind of adopted that one-size-fits-all. This is a situation. How in the world could you say that this is a situation that we think this is a good idea, that we're going to condemn one person for supposedly taking the law into their own hands when the system appears, just objectively on the district attorney's statement, it appears the system is irretrievably broken. So what are you supposed to do?
Well, a lot of this, and you can tell me, and we'll talk about it on Reasonable Doubt and Beyond Reasonable Doubt, our podcast, coming up later. Or earlier, depending on when you hear this. But the point is this. So
yes,
much.
It will have been earlier because we have a time travel.
So much of this is which way's the wind blowing and the zeitgeist, and there's no way Chauvin was getting off with the George Floyd situation. I mean, they got him for murder. Manslaughter would seem about the best you could do, but they get a guy for murder because that's the way the wind is blowing. There's a lot of the way societal. And the wind was blowing in the direction of George Floyd for sure a year and a half ago, and the wind has changed to fuck these the soft on crime DAs and defunding the police, and now it's time for frontier justice.
State of the Union. Do you think Joe Biden, President Biden, a year ago would have been yelling at the State of the Union, fund the police, fund the police?
No.
And I've got whiplash from how quickly we've gone backwards in the Democratic Party.
So is that, for Kane, it's probably good that the wind has shifted that direction, I'm guessing, or what's your take on it?
Look, the reason I brought up William Lynch's case, that was 10 years ago. People have an innate sense. Part of the beauty of the jury system is that the jury is the voice of the community. They're supposed to be the collective conscience of the community. There is no way in the world, based on what the DA is saying, I'm not revealing anything else, just based on what the DA is saying, I want to meet the person who makes the forceful argument that the DA is making, that, hey, this is a good thing what we did, and you don't take the law into your own hands. Well, I don't understand. Hypothetically, where was the law in the first place that you supposedly were dispensing justice? How is it that you're at one side of your mouth saying, I've got somebody who is alleged to have committed the most despicable acts. And by the way, I've defended every criminal act, virtually every criminal act. And even guys in state prison will tell you there is no more despicable human, even the hardened cons, than a child molester, a predatory child molester.
So what's the process now, Mark? Kane's incarcerated, right?
Kane's bail hearing is on Monday, and I'm hopeful that somebody will do the right thing and that we'll get him out.
What do you think that amount may be, or what is it typically?
Right now, it's no bail. Literally no bail.
He gets no bail.
Which is ironic, by the way, because the alleged child molester also got no bail. But his no bail was you walk out the door.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. People are sort of catching on to this, and they've had an impacted ass full of it. Now, the good news is anyone seen Cain Velasquez with his shirt off and his brown power tattoo on his chest, he could last a couple days in prison and be just fine.
He'd survive.
Yeah, he'll be shot caller by the end of the week.
All right, Mark. Well, we'll continue this conversation on reasonable doubt and beyond a reasonable doubt as well, but I'm very interested, so thanks for giving us the scoop.
Thanks, Jack. Bye, Gina. Bye, Ball.
Bye.
See you, Mark.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's this. So here's what we're in danger of, and as I see it in a sort of big picture, we have these problems. You know, we go, there's kids in cages at the border. Okay, I don't want that. But that doesn't mean remove the fence and remove the border guards. It just means do something about that problem. Or we're too reliant on fossil fuels. Cancel the pipeline. All right, well, now we buy it from Russia. Too many policemen shooting people of color. All right, get rid of the cops. Too much incarceration. All right, well, let's let these guys out of prison. Listen, the answer isn't the opposite to what's happening. The answer is a plan.
It's the vicious pendulum. It's like everyone thinks the solution to the problem is the exact opposite of the problem.
That is not a solution to the problem. No. That's just the opposite of whatever the problem is. So you have to kind of go, we're capable of being a little more nuanced, I would say. But the problem is these big movements start, like defund the police, and everyone just takes to the streets and goes, it's like,
jumps on.
What are you asking for? Yeah. What do you think's going to happen, and where would this go?
How's it going to play out?
It plays out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's scary out there. I mean, I got attacked in LA a couple of years ago.
What happened?
I was sat at coffee with a friend. It was like 9 a.m. Back to the street, and a homeless gentleman just walked up and just bolo punched me side of the head.
What? Really?
Yeah. And
the Kardashians fan.
Exactly. They were a better show. It was this whole thing, and then I called the cops. They took about 45 minutes to get there.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, he'd walked like half a mile away, and I'd followed him in my car. And when they walked up, they were like, do you want to make a citizen's arrest? And I was like, no, I want you to arrest.
Do it.
Yeah.
So when they approached him, he pulled out a screwdriver and went to stab one of them, which point about half of LAPD showed up in 4 seconds, 2 helicopters, like 10 cars. He ended up getting chased and tasered, and then they let him represent himself in court.
Oh, boy. Mm.
That was fun. He was he asked me what secret society I was working for that was sent there to kill him.
Oh, so you were in court with him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was swell.
Yeah. Well, you were handsomely paid for it, I'm sure, so it was worth your time.
No, it was like they sent it. I don't know what happened. It just disappeared, and I never got a call to be like, no, this is what happened. It was just...
Well, and that's the thing, like, besides Brian, I think we're all valley dwellers, live, somewhere,
never.
Shun.
Dare you?
I'm going to shun you, Brian.
And,
that's close, Jack.
I drive by, Laurel Canyon, Coldwater Canyon, the overpasses, and it just depends on the day. Sometimes it's empty. Sometimes it's so scary. Mm-hmm. There's no other route to take. Like, you just turn around and you go back home.
Yeah. I've seen people defecating and urinating in front of my kid's school. I found needles in front of my kid's school. It's like, what?
It's all good.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, they have a right to do that. Sure, but...
Again, it's like you can't just go live and let live with the homeless. You need a fucking plan.
Yeah.
You need a plan at the border. You need a plan for fuel. You need a plan for the homelessness. You need a plan for criminals. Like, you need a fucking plan other than, hey, man, why are you being so mean to fill in the blank? It's such a fucked up... It's sort of the opposite. It's the opposite of governing, really, if you think about it. Our plan is just walk away.
I have a screenshot. I forgot to bring this up, and it's perfect timing, from the account on Instagram, Street People of Los Angeles.
One of my favorite.
Yeah, that posts a lot of this. Apparently, there is a community sleepover and sweep defense at Selma Park. And so basically, here's what it says. Join the residents living around Selma Park in Hollywood for a community sleepover and sweep defense. Over the last 3 days, a community of over 50 people have been swept and displaced by the LAPD. Stay the night and wake up with us to support the people living in Selma Park, to show your love, support, and care for those who live there.
you're not displaced if you're living on public grounds or private grounds. You're not displaced. If I want to go camp on the lawn of the White House, I shall be displaced. But it's not me being displaced.
Yeah.
Some ordinance must have kicked in because they did the same thing at Sepulveda Park on the west side. They just cleared it all out.
I think the ordinance that kicked in is that mayors and and DAs are like, wait a second, the rich people that bankrolled us are no longer liking this.
Right.
The weirdest thing I always talk to Dr. Drew about is like, do we have to bottom out before we make a move? Does gas have to get to $7 a gallon? Like, does everything have to come undone, or can we see like which way the wind is blowing and do a little course correction? And the answer is no. We have to bottom out.
Well, anyone who watches Intervention can tell you they'll create a fake bottom for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's what Intervention is.
Back to the Kardashians.
That's the whole thing.
That's funny.
That's funny. But that's instead of you killing yourself or going to jail, we're telling you right now this is the bottom should you choose to accept it.
Well, we got Hannah, don't call me James Tubbs, talking to the world's worst dad and the prison call.
Oh, good.
With him and his pops.
Don't worry about it. It's a strike, but they're going to plead. I'm going to plead out to it. I'm going to plead guilty. They're going to stick me on probation, and it's going to be dropped. It's going to be done. I won't have to register. I won't have to nothing.
For an offender, you don't have to register?
I won't have to do none of that.
So what are they going to do to you then?
Nothing.
What a happy ending.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
He's so cash about it.
So we got the dad who dove on his son at the rodeo to protect him from the bull. Then we got Corey Sanders, boxer, jumping on his niece or daughter.
Taking 2 bullets.
And this guy, I think this guy's number 3 in the good dad department.
The dad's like, okay, then.
You don't have to register or nothing. Like he's talking about, like, oh, you can. It's like saying, I can buy an enduro motorcycle and drive it on the street. You don't have to register it, nothing?
No.
Except he's talking about sex registering for his pedophile son.
That's right.
Number 3, but like Gina in the Rotten Tomatoes game, a distant third.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, that's the dad. 17-year-old had intercourse with. But by the way, scariest person in the world. You go to the Denny's with your 10-year-old daughter. She gets up to use the bathroom, and this guy just target of opportunity. Just walks in right after her.
Yeah.
And you think this is going to make the segment of the population that we used to talk about so much that this could happen to you moms feel any better?
Oh, God, no. All right, so let's do one more, Gina Graham.
Okay. Well, let's do this one. It's kind of a 1-2 punch, so we'll do them together. So Kim Kardashian is officially a single woman, thanks to the judge that granted her request to end her marriage to Kanye West. Kim and her team apparently felt like Kanye had presented many stalling tactics in a bid to win her back, even if it meant attacking her and her new boyfriend, Pete Davidson. But wait, there's more. Don't know if anyone's seen this yet. Meanwhile, Kanye has released a new music video. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's great. That tells, and great's a relative term, tells his side of the story while also killing an animated version of Pete Davidson. And I'll show it to you.
I haven't seen it.
Kanye's claymation. No, he covers his ass at the very end. Okay. Sorta. Kanye's claymation clip for the song Easy shows a cartoon Kanye kidnapping and burying Pete, then planting roses around his head, and then sort of like cutting the roses and like cutting his head off and like putting those in a truck. And, like when he did the Valentine's gesture, which was all the roses in the back of the truck, kind of alluding to that.
It's got to be a metaphor for something.
Here's the clip, and listen to the lyrics.
Oh, my God. Oh, he's buried him alive?
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
It's definitely Pete Davidson.
I mean, yeah, you could definitely tell that that's Pete Davidson.
I think that planting roses in his head.
And he's holding the head.
I think the clay mannequin is funnier than Pete Davidson, though.
Yeah.
I bought the clay mannequin of Pete Davidson more than I buy Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson.
Just so I could beat Pete Davidson's ass, he says. At the end of the video, he says, everyone lived happily ever after except Skeet, which is what he calls Pete. And then it says, you know who, JK, he's fine. So I guess that's covering his ass.
Does, JK. Well, so they're getting divorced. Who had more money going in? I mean, I think there was a prenup, but
well,
kind of weird.
Apparently,
what's the argument?
There was rumors in the music industry for a long time that Kanye was in huge debt to
I could see that.
like had really dug himself a hole and wasn't as wealthy as he was.
It's like he wasn't smart with his money.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. But then, like, I think, with all his fashion line stuff
Right.
and whatever, apparently he is worth a considerable amount now. He dug himself out of that big debt.
But more than the Kardashian empire?
I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably not. But then again,
Well, yeah, but just Kim. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true. But
whatever
she's the
their
sort of cash cow.
net worth is.
Well, my husband's been forcing me to watch the Genius, the doc about Kanye.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, the fact that they all have all this footage from when he was
Yeah.
nobody is pretty cool.
I mean, my daughter listens to tons of Kanye when we're in the car, and it's good.
Yeah,
he's definitely smarter than the average rapper. That's for sure. Stuff's like more interesting. It's a little more nuanced.
So technically, you say he just edges out DJ Khaled?
Just nips him.
Nipping at his heels?
In the talent department. No, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And look, his stuff is good enough that, my daughter and all her friends love it too.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a talent. Now, the question is what did he have going in and what did she have going in? Because this is 7-8 years old now, right?
4 kids.
She was doing good, but
Yeah.
who was doing better? But either way, this can't be about money. This is all about something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's heartbroken now. When you get when you kind of take that 10,000 foot view of
Right.
like, oh wait, now I don't have Kim Kardashian. He's probably
And not just I don't have him, Pete Davidson
Yeah, like
has him.
And with that big dick energy.
That's right.
Are you
And,
conveniently ignoring the mental illness aspect?
Yes.
He's clearly not well.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's that.
Well, it's interesting too because I read an article. Yeah, go ahead.
He's now showing up to events with a Kim Kardashian impersonator.
yeah,
Pretty
this is
much.
weird. This part is weird to
a
me.
real lookalike.
But
yeah.
it does give us all hope.
Does it?
Well,
What,
Do
that-
tell.
Hope that we'll all be dead soon.
no, I'm just saying if you married your high school sweetheart and your heart is broken
Mm-hmm.
and you're never going to have sex with this person again, you can't find an impersonator online. You know what I mean?
This
but
is
if
true.
you
Very
want,
difficult.
If Howard Stern dumps you,
Yeah.
you could fuck a Howard Stern impersonator.
Sure.
And the Kim Kardashian impersonator, pretty doppelgangery.
Oh yeah.
I
This
mean,
one,
all you have to do is
yeah.
have like a beer and squint a little bit, and you're back at home.
Kim.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, she's, they're probably not talking about a lot, but he
No.
does get to simulate having
True.
sex with the person he's dying to have sex with again.
Yeah.
In a reasonable facsimile.
Do you think he's like doing contracts with his new girlfriends? Like, hey, I'll get a cut now of everything you make because his like first ex-girlfriend,
The Julia
yeah,
Fox.
yeah, who's the most like wretched person. I
She's
think.
weird.
She's weird. Very
Yes.
weird. Like that is a mother of a child. Like,
Oh, right, yeah.
she's got a kid, like a very young child. And he should get a cut because she's like getting all this money
That's
now.
right, yeah.
He should be a deal. Like, all right, if I now am going to be seen in public with you, I want like 10% for the next 3 to 5 years.
How very can't buy me love of you.
Right?
It's like, a club hires an influencer to
Yeah.
come DJ. It's like you're bringing the army.
That's right.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
The 70s were kind of weird.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, let me tell you about Geico, last but not least. Like to save some money on your car insurance? Of course you would. Who doesn't want a deal? And that's where Geico comes in. Great rates on insurance, and Geico can help cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, RVs, even homeowners, condos, and renters coverage. Save even more with special discounts when you get your bundle on. Plus, add the easy-to-use Geico mobile app for 24-hour roadside assistance. It's a no-brainer. So go to geico.com today. All right, I'm going to be in Waukegan, Illinois, at the Genesee Theater, March 10th, doing a show, and then we're off to Kansas City to do some live shows there, March 11th and 12th, at the Comedy Club of Kansas City. So you go to amcroll.com because there's lots of shows coming up, Texas, and yeah.
You got to decide. You want Gates Barbecue, you want Zarda, you want Joe's, you want Jack Stack, you want Smokestack.
Bring them all.
Okay.
Portals to Hell is what it's called. Season 2. It's available at watch.travelchannel.com. Thank you, Jack Osbourne, for coming in here.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Good
Give my
chat.
love to most of the family.
I will. Hey, maybe we could get Kelly in here. We'll get my mom in for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe there could be a healing. A healing for you and Kelly.
Bring them all in. It'll be cathartic. So until next time, Adam Kroll for Jack Osbourne and Gina Grant and Bob Bryan saying mahalo. I feel bad for in the evil possessed houses. I feel bad for the decks. The decks are out back going, what I do?
Come on, relax.
Yeah, crack a beer. What about a barbecue? It's like a fucking house is trying to kill me.
Pitch a tent. Stay with me.
Grab an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, pull up some redwood. Take a load off.
The deck.